Okay, confidence contest. To review, we pick 4 games against the spread. We pick any 4 games we want, and we order them in order 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 is our most confident. 3, 2, 1, you get as many points if you get it right. Bill, last week, 3 for 4. You picked up wins with Notre Dame covering, BYU blowing out USF, and Florida barely covering over at Utah. And I had the 1-point cover. That's it. I missed my 2, 3, and 4 pointers. I got the 1-point cover, and it wasn't impressive as UNC covered a 1.5-point spread with a 63-61 victory at Appalachian State. So the season scoreboard right now is Bender 12, Trocchi 3. Like I said, I'm the Oregon Ducks. I got to pick myself up off the canvas and regroup for the long season ahead. Again, you have the honor. You won the week. Why don't we do this? You go your 4-pointer. I'll go my 4-pointer. We'll go back and forth, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is your 4-pointer for week 2?
It's a dangerous 4-pointer, but Baylor, 3.5-point dog on the road. And we can go off whatever line you have. Like, we can adjust it. So it's just so that's the one I saw, 3.5. That's a good game, Baylor and BYU. Before last week, before the rankings moved, this was at one point the only game between ranked teams. Baylor handled them last year. I know it's a tough game on the road. I know BYU is good, but it looked like Baylor didn't miss a beat with being able to control a game with their offensive line, and that travels. When your offensive line plays well, if you can do that on the road and your defense plays well, and Dave Aranda's star continues to rise, I mean, they're a top 10 team. Here, the top 10 team road underdog. I'm going to trust the Bears.
I can see that. I looked at that game. It was too close for me, but you can make a case for BYU too. But anyway, my 4-pointer, based on the superstar profile by Bill Bender last week, Washington State quarterback Cam Ward. The Cougars getting 18.5 points in Madison this week, week 2. I like the Cougars to cover that number. Wisconsin might win. 18.5 is too much for me. I think Washington State they've been gearing up. They've been looking at this game. They had an Idaho opener. They looked a little sluggish against Idaho. Part of me thinks they're thinking ahead to Wisconsin. The Wisconsin game is here. It's a lot bigger game for the Washington State program than it is for the Wisconsin program. And like I said, 18.5, I'm going to take the points.
Yeah, I like it. That if he makes a couple plays in the passing game, I don't think they're going to win. Now, if they take it in the fourth quarter and Cam Ward poses some problems for Wisconsin, yeah, could be interesting. Their offensive line has to hold up, though. They were a little sloppy, like you said, a little sluggish in that game, and Wisconsin is going to continue to grind it out. Graham Mertz did look efficient in their opener, albeit against a much inferior opponent, and Braylon Allen had the 96-yard touchdown run. So I like your bet, though. I like the confidence, and I thought about that one, and I probably should have had to been required to do that. So I'm good with that pick. My 3 is Alabama. I'm just going with, I like betting on the big game because that's one that you research. I think they're going to come out and make one of those statements that we've been accustomed to seeing over the years, whether it was when they went to the blackout at Georgia or when they went down to the swamp at Florida and just totally – remember that game where they went down to the swamp and just totally destroyed Florida and it was over at halftime? I think this is coming, that they're sitting on the we saw what Georgia did. Now we're going to show you what we can do and kind of send a message to Texas A&M along the way. So Texas may catch the stray that was intended, that is going to be directed at Texas A&M in a month. Texas may catch the first, and I do like yours. Like I said, I like his kind of playmaking ability, but if he can't hit the deep ball against these guys, they're going to be in trouble. And I like Alabama to cover that 20. If it got to 21.5, I would probably take Texas, but since you got that hook 20.5, I'm going to go ahead and take Alabama as a 3.
Nick Saban's going to be trying to get into Arch Manning's head. He's like, you really want to go to Texas? You come to Alabama, son. You haven't signed anything yet. You haven't signed anything.
Right.
He could be trying to have a last tip.
That is a good subplot.
He could have a pitch to Arch Manning by running up the score and embarrassing Texas. All right, my 3-pointer. I'm going with Arizona plus 10 at home against Mississippi State. Mississippi State looked pretty good last week, but they don't travel very often in the non-conference. I think it's going to feel weird for them. Arizona, extremely impressive at San Diego State. I think it was 38-20, but they gave up like a fluky block punt touchdown. They really controlled that game against the San Diego State team that's expected to be pretty good, always has a good defense. You called Arizona, and Jason Delores was a key transfer in the offseason. You proved to be right on that one. I'm going to take the Wildcats plus 10 as my three-pointer.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad pick at all. I mean, Arizona could be one of those super dogs as well. So I like it. I think we're going to hit these. For my two, I went right to the alma mater, right? Ohio Bobcats traveling to Happy Valley, 24.5-point underdogs. And I'm just going to remind everybody that so I got a quick story for you. When I was with Sporting News in 2012, and we were sitting in an editorial meeting. There's a couple people left in the building that can attest to this story. I told our editor at the time, I said, Ohio plays Penn State in the opener, and we're going to win the game. And everybody laughed and thought it was hilarious. Oh, the Mac kid is funny. And they won 24-14. And they quite frankly, they dominated the game. So it was a very big win for the Bobcats. And then I tried the same speech the next year against Louisville and Teddy Bridgewater, and Louisville beat them by about 40 points. So I'm not always right. I do think they can cover a 24.5. Penn State's going to win the game probably by 3 touchdowns, maybe 2. But Curtis Rourke at quarterback, like the offense, I don't think Ohio is going to stop him. But I could see this being like a 42-21 type game, and OU slips in a cover, and why not? It's the alma mater. I'm going to see if they can go to Happy Valley and have a good time.
Penn State should be 0-1, says somebody who picked Purdue last week, and they were unable to run out the clock. So my 2-pointer, I am going to go right here in Atlanta. UNC, North Carolina, is coming to visit Georgia State, 7-point favorites. I like North Carolina to cover this one. They barely covered it at App State, but their offense looks great. Their defense can't be as bad as it looked. That was just a weird game that got out of control in the fourth quarter. They were very much in control, obviously. A couple of penalties in the fourth quarter, extended App State drives. If North Carolina, they were questionable. North Carolina was very close to getting off the field a couple times and maintaining a decent control of that game before all the wheels came off. So I feel like North Carolina can cover the 7 here in Atlanta. So for 2 points, I'll take the Tar Heels -7.
That's
over Georgia State.
I didn't see that one. I might have taken that one too. That seems like easier than it should. So my one is Hawaii. 51-point underdog at the Big House. I just wanted to mention this game, so this is my way of getting it in. I think that's an absurd spread. I know how much better Michigan is than them, and I know J.J. McCarthy's starting, and I know this is potential to blow up, but Michigan just isn't a team that, even when they blew out Colorado State in week 1, it was a methodical blowout. I do think if Hawaii can score a touchdown in this game, a touchdown, not a field goal, a touchdown, and get to 7, that it feels like 56-7, 55-7. And I think with McCarthy starting, there's going to be like a get in, get out type deal. And that's what they tried to do against Colorado State. Could see a lot. I mean, Hawaii's bad. Hawaii might be the worst team in college football right now, but what are you supposed to do when you're handed a 51-point spread? You have to take the underdog. You have to.
Bill, my alma mater.
I know.
Finished 128th in the country in scoring last season. And we did not have an influx of talent over the offseason. And we just put up 63 on the road at Hawaii. Just letting you know that.
And they got smoked again. But I'm this is the largest spread in Michigan history. And I looked, I saw one of their beat writers tweeted that, and I do remember the game when they were a 45.5-point favorite over UMass. I mean, Big Ten teams don't see, Ohio State sees spreads like this. Michigan doesn't get to the 40-point spread often. So, and they did not cover that game. I remember it was like 50-10. So I could see, you're basically telling me that it's 7 touchdowns and a field goal without the other team scoring. And it could very well happen, but you know what? I'm going to give Hawaii some credit and see where that 51-point spread takes me.
J.J. McCarthy's going to try to run up the score all by himself. He wants that starting job for the Michigan quarterback. My number 1 pointer is going to be Army +2 at home against UTSA. UTSA looked great against Houston. I feel like it's going to be a letdown game for them. Very disappointed. They weren't able to pull off the upset against Houston. I'm sure they've been looking at that game all off season. Big game for them. Army acquitted themselves pretty well against Coastal Carolina, who's going to be really good this year. They got beat, but I like Army at home. UTSA has been just focused on Houston, like I said, the whole offseason. Now they got to face a talented Army team, a good Army team who actually threw the ball a little bit successfully against Coastal Carolina. They've been good for the past couple of years. It's a weird offense to prepare for. So I'm going to say Army gets the W at home against UTSA. All right, so those are our picks. Once again, Bill's taking Baylor -3.5 against BYU. Alabama -20.5. You're going with big spreads this week the rest of the way. Alabama -20.5 at Texas. Ohio +24.5 at Penn State. And Hawaii +51 at Michigan. Game starts, you're up 51-0, Bill.
I know. I'm going to take it.
My 4-pointer, Washington State, 18.5-point dogs at Wisconsin. Arizona, 10-point dogs at home against Mississippi State. North Carolina, 7-point favorites on the road at Georgia State. And Army, a +2 favorite, +2 dog at home against UTSA.